Blended in black, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're blended in black. We're blended in black, yeah. And this who we choose to be our family. Blended in black, yeah. Never perfect, but it's worth it.
All right, everybody, this is your host, Miss Naja Hall of Blended in Black. Today on the line, we have group member Antoinette Brown. So we're going to tackle something that a lot of us deal with, a lot of us maybe are overcoming, or, we've heard these horror stories. So get this. You're in a new relationship, or you're newly married, and your man has a child, which is not uncommon these days. So you're really hopeful that the child's mother would be happy to have another hand, but we all know that more often than not, that is not the case. So today we are focusing on stepmothers and biological mothers, and we are talking about reasons why you should probably not attempt to co-parent with your stepchild's mother. So, basically when to let it go. Okay, so today we have Antoinette on the line. Hey, Antoinette.
Hi,
How are you
how are
doing
you?
today? I'm good. I'm good. So, Antoinette is a wife. She's a biological mother. She's a stepmother. Oh, and she's a new mommy. She just had another baby, a few years ago. And she's also a military wife. So, you got a lot of logistics going on. Can you give your family breakdown, Antoinette?
Yes. Okay. So with my family, we have 8 children.
Ooh, oh
Um,
Lord.
I know, right?
Right.
We have family. The ages range from the age of 2 to 19. My oldest just turned 19 on last month. Well, this month actually.
Okay.
But we have my husband has 5 children from previous relationship. His oldest he had when he was 18, and then when he was married, he had 4 from his ex-wife.
Okay.
I have 2 children from a previous relationship, and then we have one together. That is our 2-year-old.
Oh, and that's
Um,
how we got to 8. Okay.
and after 8, we had to have one together. So there you
Yeah,
go.
right. Okay, so the issue comes into play because I know when you and I were speaking, before we got here to the studio, the issue comes into play when, I'm saying, hey, Antoinette, how are relations with the other children's mom? Now, I know that, for you guys that are not subscribed yet, Antoinette and her husband's first child's mother are going to also be joining us next week. We got them both on the line, and they're going to talk about how they went from a tumultuous, crazy, bitter baby mama relationship to practically being stepwives, as we call it in the group. Because they're partners in raising this child now, which is kind of cool. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are focusing on the ex-wife. Now, your husband has 4 children with this woman. Obviously, they were married. They had a union, and we all know that's a little bit more difficult to for people to kind of separate their emotions. So, what brought you guys to the point to where you saying, "Hey, it's just not going to work. Me co-parenting with this woman." Can you talk about the beginning of it? Um,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so just to give a little backstory, my husband was legally married when him and I started dating.
Mhm.
However, he was legally separated. He had the paperwork. 2007 is when they had a legal separation. Him and I did not meet until 2011.
Okay.
But for health reasons and other things, they stayed married.
Right.
Cool. Whatever. You have 4 children together. You do you. I'm happy. We're cool. Um, that was the case all the way up until 2012. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, 2011. The very first time I met my husband and then wife was we were dropping the children off. We had the children for Christmas break.
Wait, let me ask. Now,
So
you said now you called her his wife. Now, they were still at that point legally married, but they were legally separated.
they were legally separated, but
Okay.
they were still legally married. Yes. So
Okay.
that's why I said then they were
Okay.
still married.
Got it.
But so we went to drop the kids off after Christmas break. We had them for the 2 weeks. And when we dropped them off, chaos broke loose.
So did she know
She
that when he had his 2 weeks with the kids that they were actually with another woman? Like, did she not call during that 2 weeks?
she did not call during the 2 weeks, but she knew that I was there. She knew about me. She knew that we were together. Um, and honestly, she did not have any issues. In the beginning, when him and I started dating and everything else, she had absolutely no issues with him and I. Or I should say, she had no issues with him and I being together.
Okay.
I think where the issue came was when she realized that I was actually staying in his life. You know, him and I, we had been together for 6 months before the kids came. Before the kids came for Christmas, we had been together for 6 months. So at that point, she realized, okay, she's not just a fly by night. She's actually something serious.
Right.
At that point in time, being that they were, of course, still legally married, I became the threat to her and him getting back together if that would have ever happened.
Now, do you like? I know you can't really speculate on another person, what's going on in somebody else's mind, but you know, a lot of us seem to believe that. You know, people think that until that judge signs that piece of paper and bangs that gavel, this is still my husband, this is still my wife, no matter if you're separated or not. Do you think this woman had any hopes, or did she allude to the fact that she wanted to reconcile with him?
Um, I personally think that when you are in a relationship and you're the person that did wrong, then you feel like it's not over until you say it's over.
That might be. You know what? That might be a new show, Antoinette. We might need to talk about that next week. Okay. Okay. So I was interrupting. Okay. So you guys are dropping the kids off. Paint the picture for us. You're dropping the kids off after this amazing 2 weeks together. It's his 4, and then your 1, right? Or your 2.
No, my 2. It was his 4 and my 2 at that time.
And everybody was in the car, or did your kids go with you to the drop off?
Yes.
Okay.
All of the kids were in the vehicle together. I was on the passenger seat. Of course, he was driving, and all of the kids were in the back. So she knew that I was with him. When he called to let her know, hey, we're dropping off the kids, she asked, are you alone? And he said no. He was like, you know, Anna's with me, because that's what my husband calls me. He calls me Anna. He was like, no, Anna's with me.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else was said. So
she played it cool. She said, okay, I'll see you when you get here.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
okay.
It's cool, no issues whatsoever. We pull up into the driveway. The kids are loading out. I'm on the passenger side playing games on my phone, you know, Candy Crush. That was the big thing. So I'm on my phone playing games. My kids are in the back, and the kids are getting out. My husband gets out so that he can hug the kids goodbye, help them get their suitcases and stuff out of the trunk out the back of the truck, and comes out of the house. Normally, you know, I didn't think anything of it. Of course, I figured she was just coming to greet her children after not seeing them.
And at this point, you had never seen her face to face.
Never.
Did she know your name? Did she know has she been able to look you up on Facebook? Had all that stuff happened at that point?
She knew my name because at this point, we were both friends of his on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she knew my name. She knew when we made our relationship official and all of that type of stuff. There was no surprises. Yeah, there was no surprises there. But so the kids are jumping out. She comes running out of the house, and she comes charging towards me.
Whoa, wait. Wait. Did you say something? What did you do?
I'm focusing on one of them levels on Candy Crush. I'm trying to beat a level. I'm trying to beat a level. I'm serious. Like, you know, I understand a lot of people when it comes to baby mamas and new girlfriends. It's okay. So what did you do? Did you antagonize her or anything like that? It was absolutely nothing like that. There was no words exchanged whatsoever. Not even a hello, not even a hi or anything. It was literally her coming out of the house and trying to charge at me as I'm sitting in the vehicle on the passenger side with my kids in the back seat.
Okay, so he's outside of the car giving the kids hugs and kisses goodbye. She comes out of the house like a wild animal. You are, caught off guard because you're playing Candy Crush. Did she try to open your door and like how did she get to
No,
you?
she was trying to lunge through the driver's seat to get to me. She wasn't trying to come on the passenger side. She was just trying to come through the door that was already open.
Oh, so what did your husband do?
My husband, he steps in between and stops her from getting into the truck and picks her up and starts stepping away from the vehicle. That's what he does.
So he's trying to calm this woman down, like a toddler having a tantrum.
Yes, that's literally what it was. She was kicking and screaming.
What was she saying? Kicking and screaming for what? What did she say? What's her reasoning here?
Honestly, I really cannot remember the words that she was saying. I can't say if it was one of the things where I can't remember or if it's just one of those things where I was just in shock where I just didn't understand what she was saying.
Right.
You know? But I can tell you she was definitely kicking and screaming. She actually kicked my husband, causing my husband to lose balance. And so he dropped her because she kicked him. He lost balance. He dropped her so that he could, regain his balance.
Mm-hmm.
And he took that as in, she basically said that he shoved her. He shoved her down to the ground. She called the cops on us.
What?
Yes, she called the cops. She called the cops on us. Now, mind you, like you said, I'm a military spouse, so my husband's in the military. So we sat there. I told him, I said, we're not going anywhere until the cops get here because you are in the military and we don't need any reports or anything like that for unnecessary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we waited for the cops to get there.
Who was in the house with her? Was her mother there? Was a homegirl of hers there egging it on? Were these people outside at that point?
Her parents were there. Her parents tried to get her to calm down. She was not listening to her parents. She was still yelling and screaming. And her dad is actually a preacher. But see
those PKs, y'all. These PKs be crazy. So at this point, you said you don't remember what she was yelling, but she's like, this itches around my kids. Like, why did you bring her here? Because okay, I imagine that. So was there any other witnesses aside from you, your husband, and her?
It was me, and it was the kids, me, my husband, her, and her parents.
So her parents actually saw him try to restrain her and then fall.
Yes.
Okay.
So cops were called. My husband waited till the cops got there, and literally, as soon as the cops pull up, she goes yelling at the cops, and the cops are, trying to take statements, telling her to go inside the house so that they can get statements from everybody, and she's like yelling at the cops and everything else, not listening to the cops and all of this kind of stuff. So her dad finally got her to go into the house so that the cops could take statements from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
After the cops collected statements from everyone, including me, asked my daughters a couple of questions and all of that other type stuff, cop literally turned to my husband, and his words to him was, the next time you come to pick up your kids, if you want to bring your girlfriend with you, leave her at the McDonald's on the corner.
Wow.
Because all of this is because you brought her here. Those were the words from the cop. And then
we both know that. That's obvious. I mean, it's really about that woman being, all of this was actually this woman being out of control. She does not have this, she doesn't have control of this man. She's lost her family. There's no hope now because you are the representation of everything that she will not have. So all of this is not because he brought you there. It's really because it's because of this woman's pain and insecurity, and she did not know how to channel that. And so now the cops got to come and calm her down. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the cops, they asked my husband, do you want to file charge? No, they said, do you want to do a restraining order? Do you want to put a restraining order on her? Like, and of course we said no, because that's just when it's children involved and all of that other type stuff. That's just taking it to a whole other ball game.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, just that right there, when as an adult, for you to charge another adult for absolutely no reason other than your own personal hurt and anger in front of children, I can't be around that, because that's not what I teach my children. That's not how I teach my children to handle conflict. I don't teach my children to handle conflict with anger. So it's better for me not to be around that.
So let me ask you this. This was how many years ago?
6 years.
This was 6 years ago. So looking back, I don't know the things that transpired from that day till now with us being on the phone, but do you wish that you all had filed a restraining order?
No.
Why not?
Because if we would have filed a restraining order, it would have made it even harder for us to see our kids.
Now, are the kids, you all are in the same state, in the same city, right?
No.
Oh,
we live in North Carolina, and she lives in Maryland.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the logistics. So your husband and she, do all of the co-parenting and talking and communicating, right?
Yes.
So from this point, you have not been able to speak to her on the phone?
I have never tried.
Okay. That's probably giving you more peace. And like you were saying, if an adult cannot physically control themselves, and my situation is similar. You know, we have a violent personality, a high conflict, violent personality that, you know, does the threats, death threats, harassing, and, you know, will fight. And I'm just like, you know, at this point we are adults, and I will tell any woman, man, child out there, if you cannot control your anger, or you cannot control your temperament in such a way that it leads you to not landing your behind in jail, you seriously need to seek some help. You got to get some help. And we have a lot of adults out here that are supposed to be adulting that simply are still stuck somewhere in adolescence. And a lot of these people, there's been no consequences. Like maybe, you know, with this woman, had she had a restraining order and had to do jail time or take anger management classes, she probably would have been prompted to calm it down, at least when it came to you. I don't believe in playing with no grown folks like that. You're not going to charge at me. If I'm not in your personal space, I could say anything about you I want. I could write anything about you I want. If I'm not in your personal space and not attacking you and you don't feel physically threatened, you have no right to raise your hand, nor do I. I'm not going to hit you because I'm mad at you. Not doing it. But you're going to jail, though. If you come near me, you're going to jail. So, you know, at this point, how is your relationship with your stepchildren? Because I'm sure they've heard a lot of you being called a whole bunch of names that we're not going to say on air. But how is it with them now? Because there's 4 of them. My goodness.
You know, with that, when they are here, I don't focus on their mom. I don't focus on what she may have said about me or may have said about my husband or anything that she may have done to paint us as the bad couple when it comes to the children.
Mm-hmm.
When they are here with us, we literally do everything in our power to show them that we do love them, and that regardless of whether we see them once a year or if we see them every other week, we love them and we will always be there for them. One of the things that I do with my husband, you know, it's a six with no traffic, and we know it gets traffic up there in the DMV.
Right.
But with no traffic, it's a 6-hour drive from our driveway to her driveway. It's 6 hours.
Uh-huh.
And there's been times when we have her and him would agree, okay, I'm coming to get the kids for this week, and she'll say okay, and then the week before we're scheduled to go and get them, or he's scheduled to go get them, she'll call and say the kids don't want to come.
Oh, okay.
She always say that. She say the kids don't want to come. And
I think that's a typical line of an angry mother.
Yeah.
That's it,
It
because
is.
we're gonna have to talk about the typical things that they say, because there's a script that an angry ex-wife or an angry baby mama or an angry ex they use. Number one, they don't want to be around you, they don't want to be around that woman, or they don't want to come. Well, what
Mhm.
children have a loyal, for all of you guys that are listening, whether you are the parent that is being alienated or you're the one that's doing it, children have a loyalty bond to you. So use that to help them grow. Don't use that to your advantage. If they know mama is not going to be happy, not going to be happy with them being away, of course they're going to say, "Well, I don't want to go." These children, at this point, modern psychology has shown us our brains are not even formed until we're about 19, 20. So these children cannot articulate the feelings that they have. Yes, they want to go and be with their other parent. They just don't want you to be disappointed. So you take your grown behind and get you some business. Find you something to do. Show those children that it's okay to love their other parent and their step parent. Show them that. I'm
But
so
see,
sorry for
here's
going
the
off on that tangent. Go ahead.
thing, because you're correct. But here's the thing: what these parents are doing is that when they tell the non-custodial parent, the baby don't want to come, he don't want to come stay with you this week, he don't want to come, she don't want to come, she's telling the the custodial parent is telling the non-custodial parent that, so that they don't show up. What I make my husband do: you're gonna drive that 6 hours, you're gonna knock on the door, and you're gonna let her say it in front of the kids that they don't want to come.
Right. Right. Because that
So
way she doesn't get to say, he never showed up. He was coming to get you.
exactly.
That's such a good idea. I hope all of you out there are listening. No matter what type of pushback that they give you, you go. Just like Antoinette tells her husband, you ladies out there, you tell your husbands, look, I know what this woman said. She's hurt, but this is one more chance for her to tell the kids, look, your daddy don't want to be with you. Your daddy didn't want to get you.
Exactly.
That just happened to my husband and I for Christmas. We went to Dallas, flew to Dallas to get the kids for Christmas. It had been quite a while since since we'd seen them. She never showed up to the fire station, and then she sent an email the next day saying, "I can't believe you did this to my kids." Now she never showed up because it was not him to pick them up. He sent his parents instead, and for other reasons that we'll discuss later. But I just will not let my husband go and be anywhere near her just because of some of the threats that I don't know if they're idle threats or she's just an angry woman. But I don't play about that. I don't play about that man. I don't play about volatile people making threats. So we were right there in the city, and so it just got to that point. But I wish that the kids would have seen him so that he could have said, hey, he could have shown them, like, look, you guys, I'm here. I'm here, and I came all the way from New York. I'm coming to Dallas to get you guys. I took off work. I'm here, and I tried. But,
Mhm.
but that's a good idea. You tell your husband to go. So what happens when he goes to knock on the door? Does
When he goes, and he knocks on the door, even after she has said no, the kids don't want to come. When he is there in front of the kids, and the kids are saying, "Daddy, mommy said that you were not coming," and
oh, uh, uh,
so
uh.
yeah, that's what they say. "Daddy, mommy said that you were not coming," and he says, "Well, no, mommy said that you guys did not want to go, but if y'all want to go, y'all can still come with me." So, and then they turn and they look at their mom, and she has to say either yes or no. And
But
guess
she
what?
has to say, she has to,
Exactly.
the burden is
She
on
has
her now, not him.
exactly. And every time she says, "Go get your bag."
And a lot of
She's
these
not.
parents out here, like dads especially, will feel defeated. And the non-custodial parents will feel defeated. It's not just dads that are custodial parents, especially in this day and age. When you hear your child doesn't want to go with you, you need to keep in mind at what, this child does not have the mental ability to make this type of decision on their own, especially if they're not coming to your household, and if they're coming to your household, it's not an abusive one, or they're not uncomfortable, or they have a bad relationship with their step siblings or whatever. So at this point, he does this in front of them, and the kids are looking at her, and the kids leave with you all. Now, when the kids are with you all, does she call them on a daily basis, or do they have like a call schedule?
Um, she may call depending on how long they're with us, she may call every couple of days or so. Or, the kids, they'll pick up a phone and they'll call her. If they start missing her, they'll call her, just to say, hey, Mom, whatever. We don't say, no, you're not going to talk to your mom while you're with us. You want to talk to your mom, you can call her whenever you want to. If you want to call and tell her everything that you did today, by all means, go ahead and tell her.
Now, how often does your husband get to talk to the kids? Like, do they have their own phones, or does she interfere with that when he's not with them? How does that go?
The only time my husband talks to the kids is when it's their birthday, a holiday, or she wants something. Because my husband can call every day for an entire month and no one will answer the phone. But as soon as it's a birthday and he calls, someone will answer.
Because they're expecting a gift, or because she's being generous and saying it's your birthday, you can talk to him?
Because they're expecting something. Not the kids. She pretty much already knows what the kids want. And so she'll tell us, she'll tell my husband then, Kate, so-and-so's birthday is on this day and this is what they want.
I said, well, how am I supposed to know that? My husband and I, we used to get that. Like, for example, this Christmas we got, I was like, he'd been trying to call the kids. He got the oldest one a cell phone. The cell phone mysteriously never got answered when he called, but we paid the bill. So we could see she's answering everybody else's phone call except for her father's. So he emails the mom and says, hey, Christmas is coming up. I have them this year. Can you have them to call me because I want to talk to them about what they want Santa to bring them? And so she sends us an email. The kids do not call. She sends an email to him, and they want a Michael Kors purse and diamond earrings and some Ugg boots and a pink gift card. Now, this is for five-year-old twins and a 12-year-old girl. And, we're just looking at it like, this is ridiculous. And, of course, the kids will start calling. And I always tell them, I said, they're calling now because they know they're going to see you. I said, but you cannot develop this thing where I only talk to daddy because I know he's going to give me things. Because that translates into when I become a young woman, I can only talk to men when I want something, or I show them attention when I want something. That's setting a very bad precedent. And so my husband has to play bad guy sometimes. And just, deny them. Well, sweetheart, you haven't called me, and I got you your cell phone, but I'm not going to be able to get you those things, but I'm going to come get you and spend time together. And that's how you avoid parenting without parenting, because I can't say that, seeing children twice a year, you're getting the full parenting experience. It's not fair, but this is the way that it's set up. And, I'm glad that how does your husband handle that? When these birthday, Christmas, holiday phone calls, what do you guys do?
We are to the point now where we no longer buy gifts because we choose to do things to create memories.
Good. Yes.
We won't buy, if we buy a gift, it's not going to be something extreme or extravagant, of course, unless it's for Christmas. Like for Christmas, even when we buy things at Christmas time, regardless of what it costs, it has a purpose. Like one of our older boys, he's 16, he'll be 17 this year, and he's really great at drawing. So we bought him a art set with an air compressor one year.
Oh, wow.
And he never got to use it.
What do you mean? Why not? Because why not?
They said that they did not want him to make a mess. So it sat in the garage.
Wow. And, of course, you weren't able to get it back. It was just basically a loss. But, he knows his dad got it for him.
Exactly. He knows that we got him something that we knew he wanted for his future. One of the other boys, he asked us for a laptop. We bought him a laptop. Literally, we ordered it online and had it shipped to their house. So we never even saw the laptop. And then 2 years after we bought it, she tells us, the laptop was broke. But that's not what happened because he had already told us that they broke the laptop.
Right.
You know, he was into music. So we went and got him the big drum set with the cymbals and all of that other type stuff. At first, it was here at our house, so whenever he would come here, he had his drum set that he could play on. But when we went to Japan, we went ahead and we took it up there so that he could have it up there to continue playing on it.
Mhm.
They put it in the garage because that was too much noise in the house.
Okay. I mean, drum sets are disruptive and kind of loud, but he should have been on the schedule with that. Like,
Exactly. It's like,
but he was interested in drums and dad and you. You know, as a stepmother, you don't get credit, but it is coming out of your household and your household money. So, that's yours too. So I'm going to say you guys because you did do it.
It's just one of those things we always do. We would get them the things that that they were interested in at that time to better themselves. And we were always hit with the excuses as to why they can't play with it and all of this other type stuff. We bought one of the older boys a cell phone, and, when the PlayStation type handheld cell phones came out, it was a cell phone on one side and a game system on the other.
I remember those.
Yeah, we got him one of those.
Wow.
And she took it from him. She said that he was too young to have that phone. So she took that phone and kept it for herself and gave him her phone.
How would you that's actually despicable. That is despicable. We bought the kids same thing. We bought the kids an iPad, and I don't know like how they probably had it for a little bit, but of course, mom uses it now. And how do you think, how does your husband view her? And ladies out there, if you are one of these women that is exacting these kinds of things on your ex-husband or your baby daddy or your child's father's new family, like, listen up, because she's about to tell us how. I know I don't even want to say how my husband views, just to be, because I can't really think of nice words to say, but he doesn't think highly of his children's mother, just because of the things that she has done over and over and repeatedly does. So
that's how it is for us. My husband, he never has anything good to say. Like, no, he's not disrespectful, so he's not gonna sit here and that be this and
right,
all of this
right. Because it's past that, like it's.
But it's. Mm-hmm. The taste, when you get that taste in your mouth, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just that yucky taste. That's how he feels, and it's just disgust. And it's like, and sometimes I tease him, and I be like, "Boy, you sure do know how to pick them," and stuff like.
I think that's a common thing. We look at these wonderful men that we have now, and we're just like, what were you thinking? And my husband, he gets defensive. He's like, look, I was 19 years old. I was in college. I didn't know better. And he was like, once people saw that we were splitting up, when I tell you everybody, his friends, his family, some people even in her family were like, man, we were waiting on this at the end because you just outclassed her. You were just better. You're a better person, a better man, and that should have just been somebody you just was messing around with in college. You took it too far. My husband's name,
yes.
You all know my husband's name is Tony. I call him Take It Too Far Tony. That's one of the things he took way, you took that. You should have left that little thing just in Arkansas where it belonged. You took it too far. So, give some advice to the wives and the girlfriends and fiancés that are trying to comfort a man that is plagued with dealing with such a personality. And I'm sorry, to the people, because I'm not going to exclude only wives, to the people that are dealing with high conflict co-parents.
So as an adult, if the person that you love is dealing with, that other person, the over dramatic and just negative, bitter, petty, crazy, whatever you want to categorize that person as, the only thing that I can tell you is just stay as positive as possible, because they are already in their feelings. They already have so many negative thoughts so many doubts running through their head and their heart, as far as, are they a good parent? And, I wish I could do more. Why can't I do more for my kids? They don't need nothing but support and positivity. Put your feelings aside, your feelings that you have for that individual, put them aside and just be there for the person that you love. Give them the encouragement to keep going. Because I know, just like when I tell my husband, and you're still going, there will be, and there has been times when he do go and she will not let him see the kids. And just like I tell him, so what? You went. The kids saw you. That's what matters. Regardless of if the kids come back with you, they saw you. They're seeing you fight for them. As the kids get older, they are going to make their own decisions, and they're going to come to their own conclusions.
Now, what are their age ranges now?
With her, the youngest is 8, and the oldest will be 17 in July.
Okay. 8 to 17.
8, 11, 14, and 16 right now are their ages.
Got it.
And a lot of times we can hear some of the conversations that they have when they're with us, and they whisper things to each other, and they'll say things like, "Mommy lied."
Wow.
Or they'll say, "Why did Mommy say that?" It seems where the kids, even when you think the kids are not paying attention, the kids are definitely paying attention. And I'm not just saying that because I have a husband that's fighting to be there with his kids. I mean, my husband is in the military. We were in Japan for 2 years. So, no, he's not there every day. There's no way that he'll ever be there every day because of his occupation. But he does fight to see his kids.
Right.
The way that he can fight to see his kids. I have my 11-year-old. She has not seen her dad since 2010, and she's 11 years old. So since she was 5 years, yes, she has not seen her dad since she was 5 years old. And even to this day, I still, as a parent, I do not say anything negative about him because that's not my place.
Right.
She draws the conclusions that she wants, and she sat down, she sent him an email, and she told him, if you want to be in my life, you need to be a part of my life. If you don't want to be a part of my life, that's fine. I have a daddy, and I would gladly take on his last name.
Did he respond?
No, he did not.
Are you in contact with his family or anybody from
No.
his end?
No.
So it's safe to say he doesn't pay child support. He's just not involved. Period.
He's 100% not involved in any of his children's life. He is the man that he is there for you as long as he is with you.
I see. After that, you're on your own, kids and all.
You're on after that.
Okay.
I mean, when that's a completely different topic.
Right.
It's one of the things where I can tell you, I have, for every situation out there, I've been in it. Aside from having, well, I guess I did have an actual altercation, huh? But so for every situation out there, I have had it since I became an adult and started having. And I'm still alive. I'm still happy, and I will still continue to support and push my husband to stay a part of his kids' lives until they are old enough to really and truly understand and come to their dad to talk to them when they want to.
Right. That's awesome. Now, we're going to wrap this up here in a second, but you have been through basically all facets of single parenthood, marriage, all that good stuff. And digging into the psyche of a woman that is so angry that she would charge at you. While I know that you've not done anything like that, in a previous conversation, you did tell me, you're like, look, I was angry. I was pissed off. I was a crazy baby mama. What would have made everything okay with you? Because a lot of our listeners are just trying to find some solutions. Because we are a solution-based platform. What would have made it? And if you can remember all those years ago, what brain space you were in, what could your child's father have said to you to have made you calm down or accept his new woman, or just to have made it okay? Is there anything, any sort of solace that you can offer?
I'm sorry.
That's it?
That's it. I'm sorry. Because, we can all make excuses. We can all say I was young. We can all say, I didn't know any better, or, whatever your situation is that puts you in that state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, a woman or even a man does not become bitter without having heartache.
Right.
And closure is one of the biggest things to get you through heartache. You got to have some type of closure, which, that's why on your post when you said let go, move on, I said let go.
Right.
Because when you get closure, you are letting go. So you're able to move on. So if he would have just told me, I'm sorry, and it would have been truly genuine, that would have given me what I needed to have peace when I was looking at the other woman.
Because I'm sorry, it's you guys, just because you all, and I want to add this caveat, just because you say I'm sorry, that don't give you permission to go and keep doing the same things. When you apologize to a person, you are acknowledging a fault, and you're in action mode, because you need to show them where you are sorry, and to where those same actions won't happen again. So she said that she was needing an I'm sorry from this man. There were some indiscretions that he very well should have offered. I'm sure, you guys get along great now. So I'm sure you've all had these conversations, but that doesn't mean when you say I'm sorry, don't keep doing the same thing. You have to make the decision that I'm sorry is not empty.
Exactly.
So in that case, what could he have apologized to you for? Because I'm sorry, let's use another example, because we're going to talk about this particular situation in another episode. But let's just say with your ex-husband, what could he possibly have apologized to this woman for? For marrying you, for being happy, for moving on, for leaving her? Because he could not have fixed any of those things, because he wasn't willing to leave you. He wasn't going to be back with her. So where would the I'm sorry have come from?
I personally think that when it comes to my husband and her, if he would have really and truly let go in 2007.
When he said he was, right?
During the legal separation, if he would have just went ahead and did the divorce then, when he got into another serious relationship, it would not have been all of this.
Right. But this is 2007, but that was 2007. This is 2017, so this is still 10 years now.
It's still 10 years. It's still 10 years, but when my husband got a divorce, he did not finalize his divorce until 2012. No, I'm sorry. He finalized 2013. He finalized his divorce in 2013.
So this is 5-6 years in limbo, basically.
Exactly. 2007 to 2013, he was legally married. Although he legally separated, he was still married. So 2013, he filed for divorce, and it was granted. 2014, him and I got married.
Oh, ouch. Yeah. And you know what? When you tell us the timeline, it looks like, wow, you got married a year after this man was divorced. No, actually, he had not been with that woman in 5 years.
Exactly. He had not been with her in 5 years, but looking at the papers, the divorce was finalized The divorce was finalized June 2013, and we were married January 2014.
And I know a lot of you all out there listening are probably thinking, well, was he still dealing with this woman in that limbo stage? He was probably telling her
Nope.
one thing and telling you another thing. And of course, as wives now, we don't want to imagine what this man could have told this woman that he did have multiple children with, that he was, technically married to, or about to divorce. I prefer to use that term, a divorcing rather. But that's something that you just will never know.
My husband is the type of person that keeps everything. He has emails that I sent him from his first deployment talking about finances.
Mm-hmm. He must be a Cancer. What's his sign?
He's February 13th.
What's that, Pisces? I believe that. Aquarius. That's Aquarius. Okay, gotcha. So basically, you've had proof that there was not any sort of funny business.
Exactly. There was no type of funny business whatsoever.
Because as a wife, as a fiance, girlfriend, I mean, you going to look. Anybody that's saying they're not going to look, you're lying, honey. You're lying, girl. Whoever's out there listening, say, I don't look. Girl, you better go. You better look. Don't pry, but just do some research.
Exactly. That's the difference. Don't pry. I have access to all of my husband's accounts. He has access to all of mine. I don't sit here and go and check his Facebook and his email.
Because you don't feel the need to, You don't feel the need to. A lot of times when we get caught up in prying and looking, and I have one time in my life, I became like this Inspector Gadget. And that was the worst period of my life because, when you look for stuff, you're going to find it. But when you're every single time, right? But, when you're but you kind of know. I always tell ladies, like, we have women's intuition. That little feeling you get in the pit of your stomach, that's not gas all the time. You need to kind of follow that. And I'm not advocating going to being some crazy chick, like becoming a stalker. But if a person has something to hide, more than likely if you ask them, they're not going to tell you. So that's a whole other thing. We've gotten off into all these other side conversations. But basically you're saying you were confident in the fact because you had a guess and check. You had a checks and balances system. And you're like, okay, ain't nothing. Right.
And that's how it was. And even just listening to conversations with, whenever I'm around his family and the conversations that him and his brothers would have, just listen. You don't have to participate in the conversations, but you're in the same room as they're talking.
Right.
Listen to conversations. Those conversations will validate a lot of things that your significant other has been saying or has not been saying.
Very true.
Those conversations validate a lot of things. For me, it definitely validated a lot of things for me. It did. Those conversations helped me out so much.
Very, very true.
I'm not, it's so funny because I read through the blog, the group, and a lot of the questions or, the questions of the day or even some of the memes and stuff that we post. And a lot of those, they hit home with me. And then some of them, I look at them and I read through the comments and I just feel like, wow, why so far to the extreme? Why do you feel this way? Everybody can feel however they want to feel. Everybody's mindset, relationships, and experiences are all different. But the one thing that is the same is the fact that everybody in that group is associated with some child.
Right.
And that child needs to see us as adults being positive.
Amen. I agree. And you know what? On that note, I think this is a good time to wrap it up because you guys got a lot of good gems out there. I hope you all were taking notes. Make sure you share this episode with your friends. Share it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us everywhere. We are at Blended in Black, #Blended in Black. You know where you're listening to the show at. I just ask that you share it and subscribe for the newsletter because that's how I'm going to let you know all the awesome things that are up the pipeline for us with Blended in Black. And Antoinette, girlfriend, I thank you so much for being such a valuable member of the group, and thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate you. Everybody, let's give a hand to Antoinette. All right, so I will reach out to you guys. I will talk to you guys a little bit later. Again, this is your founder of Blended in Black, Naja Hall, signing out. Thank you so much. Blended in Black. Hey.
we're blended in black. We're blended in black, yeah.